Are there any situations where a mediation is not necessarily the best choice?
Yes,
Can you give me a little bit of explanation so I
yes. As much as we would like to say that mediation is fantastic, well, it's not for every case. What is, for example, um, aggression in the relationship very badly when it's mainly power imbalance. Let's say a typical case, a man is a business guy and she was at home for 20 years. She has no clue what a bank is. She never managed any money and they have no knowledge, or she has no knowledge of the economy, then will be very bad to mediate unless he has a very honest attitude. But as soon as we see that the person is trying to take advantage of that and play games, then we prefer not to mediate. Obviously, when it's also situation where the police got involved, sometimes we cannot mediate. And a lot of time, other than this situation, is when we see that people want to manipulate the process and they want to use the mediator on the mediation process, they want to use to try to accommodate to their needs, then may not be working well.
So basically, when there is some sort of abuse signals or some sort of power imbalance or
Yes,
addictions, perhaps.
yes, sometimes addiction, even though technically we shouldn't be doing anything with all these cases, we try to do our best to help.
Right.
But there is one point that we prefer not to, and we try to have what we call a pre-mediation interview that we can see that. And let me give you one example. I can give you several examples, but let me give you an example. I have one guy, he called me, he said, I want to mediate as long as we do not talk about the support. Well, you cannot, as a mediator, allow that person to manage the process. We say, no, we don't want. You need to convince me. I know that sounds a little strange, but you need to convince me why mediation may be the best. I don't need to convince you.
So, in that type of cases, your recommendation will be clearly to mention to
Yes.
the couple what they should
Well,
be doing instead of mediation?
no. When it's on the phone and I see that it's not going to work, I let them know. But when we have the first session,
Yes.
and I notice or I see that it's not going to be a successful mediation, then I recommend them to see lawyers instead. Sometimes what happens is they see lawyers and they come back. They get more educated, they understand better, and they come back and they sit down in a different mindset. But a lot of time, basically, when we notice that they wanna manipulate the situation, we try not to mediate because we know that it's not going to be a good thing. Now, some people end up being mature and they understand, but some people they don't. They try to manipulate me, manipulate information. They don't try to provide information. So in the first session, I explained very well, and I said you have the right to choose another way to separate. Don't even provide information. If you really believe that you prefer to lie, then don't keep going with the mediation. Do your own thing. I'm not going to judge you. Go to a lawyer and figure out what you want to do because the lawyer will represent you. In my case, I don't. And some people some people take that. They say, well, let me think. I prefer not to give any information. I prefer not to mediate. I know that I will get more money only by going through lawyers. And if that's what they want, it's fine. Basically, mediation is only when people have an honest attitude and they want honestly to resolve a conflict. That does not mean there is not going to be some tension. That does not mean there is not going to be some resistance. That does not mean that people may not want to take advantage of the situation somehow. But if you openly, all you want is not to pay anything, not to share anything, and you believe that the other person does not deserve anything, then I know, forget it about drugs abuse or power imbalance, I know that it's not going to work well. So I said the first day, and this is usually what I said, if you allow me. I said, you don't need to answer to me, you don't need to answer to her, or the same to her. You don't need to answer to me, or you don't need to answer to him. Go today, look at the mirror, talk to yourself, and see how honest you want to be, and if you really want to use this process in a positive and a collaborative way. A lot of people, when we finish the first session, they want to right away go for the second session or go for the separation agreement. And I say, take your time. Because if you notice, the majority of the mediation that I manage are very successful, and I don't want to take mediation that I think that they will fail. That doesn't mean that they may not fail, but if I know that they will fail right away, I prefer not to take them.
A good divorce is better than a bad relationship.